Hey, what's going on, guys? So I hope everybody had a great Veterans Day weekend. For all the veterans out there, past and present, I want to say thank you so much for your service. It's an amazing job. It's a hard job to do, to sacrifice parts of your life to serve the country, to serve the public and the interests of our country. And it's a hard thing. So I want to say thank you so much for everything that you guys do, putting your lives on the line, making sacrifices for your family and for yourself. And it's a hard thing to do. So thank you so much for everything you guys are doing out there, guys and gals. Now, I know this video is kind of going up late. I know Veterans Day was yesterday, but I still want to talk about it just because I find Veterans Day to be a really fun holiday for me. I think it's very fun just because you go out there, you celebrate Veterans Day, whether you go out to eat or you go out to some of the memorials out there, and it's fun to meet other veterans. I feel like all veterans together, whether it be in the Marines, the Army, the Navy, Air Force, wherever, we always have a different experience, whether depending on what branch we went in, what time we went in. But we also have the same experience, whether that, going through boot camp or going through an officer course, being deployed, going to, camp this, camp that, or whatever. And it's always funny to know and learn about different experiences and be like, oh my God, I experienced the exact same thing. How funny is that? Or just the crazy stories that veterans have, whether you're deployed or you're going to training and stuff like that. And it's just very funny to just kind of talk about it and have a day really just kind of celebrating our services. So, one thing I wanted to do in this video is just kind of talk about what Veterans Day means to me and talk about, as being a vet, playing these games that are about soldiers, like World War II, Call of Duty, or Battlefield 1, or even Titanfall 2. That's all games based around a soldier's experience of what, a soldier's mission is and what the lifestyle is and what the war and conflict is. And I want to kind of give you guys my perspective of being a veteran and playing these games, so you guys can kind of know when I play these games what I'm actually thinking about during the time, and just how much fun I actually have with experiencing a different war like Battlefield 1 or and Call of Duty World War II. Experiencing these different conflicts from a soldier's perspective, and kind of having my own perspective of what I would think as an officer or even as a soldier. So what Veterans Day means to me is just, it's something special because I don't know. I feel like it's really bad that we don't really do this very often, but it's a special time to actually thank a veteran. It's like almost an excuse really to thank veterans. I feel like as a country, or just as us as individuals, we don't really give thanks too much to people that have sacrificed so much. I mean, it's definitely hard being a either an officer or a soldier, an NCO, enlisted, wherever you're at in the spectrum. It's hard being wherever you're at because you're either away from your family, you're on hard assignments, hard missions, you're being deployed, you're being this, you're being that. There's all different types of different experiences and different circumstances that we go in that's very difficult for our lives, that I guess like the normal person doesn't go through. Yeah, some people might travel and go some places, but they don't have to fear that their life is going to be in danger like a soldier does, going to Afghanistan or going to Iraq, going to all these different places or different conflicts. And it's just really a great time to kind of give thanks to those that have sacrificed a lot. It sucks being, a soldier because you're being away from your family. I mean, the experience I have is being away from my parents and my grandparents for so long, being away for 5-6 years, and then finally getting to reunite with them when I got out of the Army and moved back. And I feel like that was kind of the best move for Han and I, to get out of the Army, come back home, and be with our family, because it's definitely a life that you miss being away from them for so long. So I don't know, that's kind of like what I think of veterans. It really is just a special thanks because of, some of the sacrifices that people don't talk about, whether it be their family or a loved one. I mean, the love and bond that soldiers have together. I mean, you'll see sometimes with veterans that wear bracelets, and on that bracelet will have the name, the unit, and the insignia of, this person that meant a lot to them, that they wanted to remember. I mean, either this soldier, passed away or something might have happened to them, that they want to remember them through this bracelet. It's a really nice thing, and it's a really great way for all of us to still come together, even though, maybe we're not together, or people have passed away. It's a great way that all of us can come together, remember our teammates, our battle buddies, and it's just that love right there between, battle buddy to battle buddy, watching out for each other, because you are in most of the most dangerous circumstances, is just a great thing. And I feel like the reason why all of us as veterans come close together together. Like, we always have, you know, some type of connection, and being able to, like, make friends pretty quickly is just because since we all experience one, you know, type of occupation for so long, or for a portion of our life, it's just one life experience that, you know, we can't get anyplace else. I mean, whether you're in a dangerous place pulling security, or you're doing this or you're doing that, we all have this bond because we've all made the sacrifice to stand up and defend our country. And it's just a very great thing to celebrate, is just, you know, people that are volunteering. I mean, the United States is still a volunteer force. I mean, thank goodness we're not, you know, going back to the draft or anything. The fact that we have a volunteer force is an amazing thing. In the history of the world, people that want to volunteer and make a difference and defend our country when it's like less than 1% of the population can do it is an amazing thing. So it makes me really happy that we have a day that we can actually celebrate veterans, for people that, you know, again, make a sacrifice, want to defend the country, defend our values, and it's just a great thing. Now, one of the things I really do like about being a veteran is the fact of, you know, there's no shortage whatsoever of war games. I mean, hell, you know, whether you're playing on PC, Xbox, PlayStation, whatever, there's always different types of war games, either covering over World War II, present day, modern warfare kind of stuff, futuristic stuff like Titanfall. There's always different types of war games out there, and it's just kind of cool being, you know, being a soldier, being an officer in the military, and going into these, you know, these stories of, you know, either Titanfall, you're playing Cooper, or you're going into World War II and Call of Duty and being this soldier going through D-Day and stuff like that. There's all different types of experiences of being you know, a soldier, and different tactics that you can use from the stuff that you've been taught and trained on, that are just kind of fun to, you know, kind of get into the digital world. And it's really cool. The one thing I really like about either playing Battlefield 1 and learning about World War 1, or playing Call of Duty World War 2, is that, you know, you get taught so many different things. I mean, I love history. I think that's the one thing I like being a soldier, is, you know, learning about different things, learning why, you know, World War I started, or learning why World War II started, and learning the conflicts between the different countries is just one thing that I find very fun, just because, you know, there's probably kids growing up right now that don't know anything about World War II. What was the conflict, you know, that was happening during that time? What nations were on what side? And this might be their first, you know, of seeing this type of conflict, and it's really great because I love it that they're, you know, taking the time to play this game, and they might actually learn something. And that's kind of what I think is pretty cool, because not too many times do I have a little kid, or, you know, talk to a kid about, you know, a World War II thing, or, you know, some type of military thing, because they just have never had that experience. But, you know, maybe this game, or, you know, other games like Battlefield 1 will give them a perspective of, you know, what it was like to be a soldier back then, or tell a story of the sacrifice, the human sacrifices that people had to make during that time. Or even, you know, it's funny, even learning about World War II and the rationing that happened back in the States. I mean, that's crazy. Could you imagine right now rationing different things like, potatoes? I don't know, just think of something that you would eat, you know, all the time, and they're rationing it, and you can't eat so much just because, you know, soldiers in, you know, either in Europe or in the Pacific, you know, needed those supplies. It's crazy stuff like that that I feel like not too many people know about. And it's fun to know, and it's fun to know as a soldier, you know, knowing the perspective of, you know, what was kind of going on. As a soldier, you know, I would be thinking this, or I'd be thinking that, or as an officer, which I was, you know, being in these conflicts of World War II, you know, and that's the one thing that I like about World War II's campaign, is I feel like I can relate a little bit more to the officer. You know, the officer and NCO relationship that's happening in World War II is a kind of a toxic, not toxic leadership, but a toxic relationship. And it's just kind of funny of how, you know, you can kind of relate from the officer side, because that's what I was, and it's just a nice thing to do. Not too many games have that perspective of leadership. It only has, you know, the one soldier. I think another thing that's funny, you know, being a leader in the Army and, you know, having soldiers underneath you, is the one thing that I've at least learned in the Army is that your soldiers need to know that you care about them. You know, nobody's going to follow you if they know that you really couldn't give two damns about, you know, their well-being or whatever. So I wanted to make sure that my soldiers knew I cared about them. I get to know them, get to know their family, show that I have an interest in their lives. And just that made the world, you know, just everything in my platoon, or the soldiers that I was leading, it just made everything great. So the funny thing is that it's actually it's taking me into, you know, the campaign or the multiplayer or whatever. In campaign, I'm like actually like caring about like the AI that are around me, making sure that they're okay. And it's funny in the World War II campaign is that, you know, your soldiers actually work together. I mean, your lieutenant throws out ammo, and there's a soldier that throws out medical supplies or mortar rounds and stuff like that. And I think that's really cool. I think they did a really good job building, a unit cohesion, that you can't do this all with, without anybody else but yourself. You have to do it as a team, and I'm happy that each person has a different responsibility. Same thing like in Battlefield 1, playing that game, caring about the people I'm playing with, making sure that they have health or being revived or have ammo. This is stuff that I really like. I love that, I can take the team playing mentality that I have from the Army, and I can put that in a video game. But I also too like it that games out here are teaching how to be a team player, and they can actually take that back into the military. So I think it's a really cool thing, and a really cool way and perspective, I guess, of being a leader coming back into video games. But guys, I would really love to know what you guys think about Veterans Day. It's just one day really that we get to celebrate and thank the soldiers that, past and present, that are actually serving this country. And it means a lot to everybody that, if you get a chance, you get the time to thank somebody for their service, it means a lot to us. And it's just really sad that we have like one day really that it's just for that. So if you get a chance, thank a veteran. I know the day is already over, but if you get a chance sometime, thank a veteran. It definitely means a lot. And yeah, I would love to know what Veterans Day means to you guys. If you got a chance, you got a second, comment down below. Let me know what Veterans Day means to you. Either you serving or you're not serving. I would love to know still what this holiday, what this day of celebration means to you. But guys, again, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you guys did, please drop me a like. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. I always love, getting to know people. I love reading through the comments, and it's always a great thing to build this community more and more. But more than anything, guys, have a great rest of the day. Have a great start to the week, and I will see you guys next time.
1 minute until enemy reinforcements. We destroy the crowd AA guns. Now our bombers can hit their targets.